Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to show you how to make my Sunday sauce with homemade pasta. We'll be making a pasta arrabbiata and fettuccine. If you'd like to see how I made this amazing Sunday classic, then please keep watching. And we're going to start off with making the pasta. We're going to use 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 8 egg yolks. And I'm excited to share this with you as this was my first time making homemade pasta, and I'm not joking, I will not go back to eating boxed pasta. This is what pasta is supposed to taste like. In a small bowl, I cracked 8 egg yolks, and I used the method to just scooping out the egg yolks and separating them by hand. There are many different ways to separate your egg yolks, and you can use the shell-to-shell method if preferred. And we're going to whisk the egg yolks lightly. We don't want to create too much air in the egg yolks because we really want a nice velvety pasta. And on a clean surface, we're going to add 2 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to make a well, and this is going to be a perfect spot to place those egg yolks in. I would encourage you to make the flour well a bit larger than you suspect. Since we're going to be adding in the egg, we're also going to be adding in a tablespoon of olive oil, and you definitely just want enough room so you can whisk this inside to be able to make the proper dough. By whisking the dough in this way, it's going to slowly start pulling the flour, and it's going to start creating the actual dough. And eventually you are going to start flicking in some of the flour by hand, just so you can add more and more gradually. You can see the dough starting to come together. And once you're not able to whisk anymore, you can stop doing that, cleaning off the fork, and start placing your hands in and pulling the flour in and really kneading the dough. You're going to repeat this for 7 to 10 minutes. Definitely put a timer on. It's really important for this time frame to go in full because you're breaking down that gluten so you can get a really nice pasta. And you'll eventually see the color change to that yellow that we're used to in the pasta color. And you can add flour if it is too sticky. You can add some extra water if it is not sticky enough. And I'll show you in just a moment some different techniques. You can roll the dough on top of each other. You can use both hands and cross over directly. I started to stand up to get more leverage on the dough because eventually it does become a bit tough. But the more and more you roll this out, you'll notice that it becomes a bit more manageable to work with. And you can see here that I was adding some flour and it became a little bit too dry, so I added some water, and vice versa. You're just going to really fill out the dough to see exactly what it needs. And once we're completed with the 7 to 10 minutes, I'll show you what it looks like then. And we just hit the 9-minute mark, and you can see that I pressed it down, and from that fingerprint it popped back up. That let me know that it was done. So I rolled it out just a few more times, took some saran wrap, covered it, and placed it out on the counter and let that rest. And now we're getting right into the garlic that goes into the sauce. So I broke up about 20 to 24 cloves of garlic. We're just going to smash them and leave them as whole as possible and put them in the bowl to the side. And also behind me I do have my Dutch oven ready to go with some olive oil. I'm about 3/4 of a cup. And we have our flame about medium to medium high heat. You want to make sure that the oil is warm when you're putting in the garlic. We're putting in the garlic whole, and we're going to let that sear on this medium to high heat for 10 minutes. It's actually called a garlic confit, and it's going to make the garlic really sweet, super soft, and elegant. It's not going to have a harsh garlic smell or flavor. It's going to become very aromatic and work perfectly in the sauce. And here is 10 minutes of the garlic on the oil, and you can see that it's becoming golden brown and crispy. Just keep in mind that garlic can burn fairly quickly, so the temperature of the oil is really important. And I turned off the heat, and we're going to take out all of that garlic and place it in a bowl to the side. We're going to let that cool a little bit, and I'm also going to get the San Marzano tomatoes that we'll be using in the next step, and this way we can really see the sauce come together. And for the tomatoes, we're using canned, whole, peeled San Marzano style tomatoes. They are very sweet and have a little bit of basil in them. We are draining them because there's a lot of liquid in these tomatoes, and we just don't want to have our sauce very liquidy and watery. So we're going to dump both cans in, and we're going to drain them as such. And once those are drained, we're going to put them in the blender along with the garlic that we've just taken out. And you're going to blend this until your preferred thickness. And going back to that oil in the Dutch oven on the stove, we're placing that heat back to medium-high, and then we're pouring in the blended tomato sauce and garlic inside of that oil. We're going to stir this around for about 2 to 3 minutes to make sure everything is blended together, and then we're going to be adding some additional ingredients in just a second. We'll be adding a tablespoon of hot red pepper flakes, and also a 1/4 cup of red wine. If you prefer not to use alcohol, you can use pure cranberry juice with no sugar. The tartar the better. And we'll also put in an additional 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper to taste. We're going to let the sauce simmer for 20 minutes. And here is the sauce at 20 minutes in, and I'm putting in a cheese rind of Parmigiano-Reggiano. That's going to provide some extra saltiness and allow the sauce to become a bit creamy. And let's take a look here after I remove the Parmigiano-Reggiano and an additional 15 minutes after. While that tomato sauce goes for an additional 20 minutes, we're going to start rolling out the pasta. With the pastry cutter, I cut up those into 8 individual equal pieces, and now we're just going to roll this out into a long rectangle. The thinner the better, because once it goes into that water, it's going to take on a lot of liquid, and you don't want to have a really super thick pasta. There is a tale that you should be able to read a love letter through your pasta before you cut it. I thought that was really sweet. And now we're just going to cut this up. The reason why I folded this gently is so when we unravel the pasta, it'll be nice and long. My thickness was about fettuccine size, but you can do any type of size. Pappardelle, you can do angel hair, you can just do regular spaghetti, but I enjoy a wider pasta and it holds onto the sauce really nice. And once it's unraveled, we're going to put some flour and toss it together so it doesn't stick. In a well-salted boiling water pot, we're going to place in that fresh pasta. You're going to break it apart before you put it in and stir immediately. This is going to go for about 6 to 7 minutes, but we're just going to keep it in the water for about 4, and then we're taking it directly out and putting it into the sauce and cooking it for the remaining 3 minutes. And when you do this, the pasta takes on the liquid from the sauce and it actually infuses the pasta, so it becomes a lot better of a flavor. And again, you can control how thick you want the pasta sauce because of the starchy water. And this is the sauce with the pasta directly in. We're going to turn this up to high and let the pasta boil in the sauce. Let's just appreciate these pasta pulls. I mean, they're just absolutely fantastic. And I'm telling you guys, homemade pasta is just so elegant. You guys are going to absolutely love it. And after that 3 minutes, we're going to turn off the heat, and I added in some fresh basil. This was a really good add to the sauce and the pasta, and it provided a really great color as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this amazing Sunday pasta. It is super easy to make. Anyone can do it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave a comment below letting me know how you like the pasta and is anything else that you would add. And also, I did add this with some seafood on the side, which you'll see in the next slide. Well, thanks guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye!